Hi babes, and welcome back to my channel. I am Sinolwazi April. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. So as you can see from the title, that today I am doing a storyvation. For those of you who remember, or for those of you that are new on my channel, a storyvation is basically me telling a story and turning it around and motivating you, right? So I am talking about life after varsity, my life after varsity, what happened, the transition from university to work life, me relocating to Cape Town, all the hardships that came with that, the challenges that I faced, the racism, tribalism, the sexism, all the zims that you can think about that I faced and endured. I am going to talk about that now, and I hope you take something away from this video. And I'm not doing this video to be repeated because I've already went through those things, like I've already experienced it, and this is just for somebody who is watching it, who's probably going through the same thing, for them to know that you can actually overcome that difficult situation that you are faced with. So without any further ado, let's get into this video. I hope you do enjoy, and yes, don't forget to share this video, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment down below and let me know how is life after university for you. And yes, most of all, don't forget to subscribe. And for those of you who have been subscribing or have subscribed a long time ago, thank you so much. As you can see, the family is growing. So let's get into this video. So before I take you through my whole journey from actually graduating, then relocating, let's talk about the expectations versus reality after university, right? So now, expectations, these are expectations that you have, these are expectations that your family have, these are expectations that the society or your community at large have, right? This could be from when we were growing up and we could see Ubudbani or Usiskabani, you know, they doing well in life, and you know, everyone is saying that they're successful, you know, they have cars, they have a house, they have kids, you know, that's how other people deem success. And you know, you get told at home that, you know, if you pass matric and go to university, you're gonna get a job and you're gonna have all of what she or he has, right? And it's made to seem that after you graduate, everything is just like such basically, and that is not the case for most of us, right? So those are the expectations and my reality. Let me talk about myself. So this video, I'll be talking about my experience. I'm not going to generalize. My reality right now is that all of those expectations that were, I don't know, sprung upon me, or I don't know, that people had of me or I had of myself, well, where I stand right now, I don't have a child. I'm not married. Oh God, I don't even have a boyfriend. Like, I am single AF. I don't have a job. I am self-employed. I do not have a car. I do not have a house, right? So that is where I'm at. And another thing that we're not really told or taught is that you can actually start something and make something out of whatever it is that you are passionate about, or you can start a business. That narrative is not really pushed when you are in university, because it's expected that you graduate and then you get a job. Like it's and the way it was actually sold to me, or how it was painted to me, let me tell you, for me, I literally thought that as I was crossing that stage, right? Like, I was naive. Like, I am going to admit it right now that I was very naive. But in my mind, how it was sold is that as you're walking across that stage, right, the people who are sitting there, who are witnessing your graduation are the people who actually have the key to the doors that you need to be opened. Like, not literally, but maybe they know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. I mean, those people see that person has this qualification, that's what I mean. And so they can, so literally when you get on the other side of the stage, opportunities are going to come like this. That is how it played in my head. And my girl, my guy, it's not like that. It is not like that. A qualification with no connections is as good as nothing. Let me tell you, I know, I've experienced it. Like, I have. Whoa. Okay, so basically that is it. Expectation versus the reality, my reality at the moment. I've done a video, I think last year, where I was saying that I have been an intern 3 times. That is my reality. I have not had a permanent job. Most of us jump from internship to internship. You know, the stipend that you get as an intern, you can't really take care of your family, and that's another thing, right? Most of us, you're the first person to graduate from your family, and your family is looking up to you. Now you need to work and give back at home, but because now you are surviving with stipend some money, 2.5, what are you gonna do with that? Like, honestly, tell me what. Okay, whoa. Okay, so that is that. Now let's talk about me relocating to Cape Town and how that came about. Look at me fixing my boobies. Wow, sis. All right, so now it's 2016, right? The good girl is graduating in April that year. So, and for me, this is another thing that I didn't know, right? I didn't know that I could actually apply with my transcript, right? I thought I have to literally graduate, get my certificate, then start applying. Little did I know that I could just give my transcript and then follow up with the certificate after I have received it, right? So this was me chilling. January, February, I'm chilling, right? I mean, 3 years has been a lot, so I just need a break, for those few months. And in my head, in April, I'm gonna get a job, right? I'm gonna graduate most, and people are just gonna, doors are gonna open. That is my thinking at the time. So I'm just chilling at home. I don't really have a plan per se, but prior, which was now 2nd year, 3rd year, I had spoken about moving to Cape Town. And the reason I decided Cape Town was because I was a bit scared of Johannesburg and all the things that I've heard about Joburg, fast life and all. And the thing is, sis, before now Cape Town, I had not been anywhere. Like, literally, I am from Uteneg and I've only been to Port Elizabeth, which is Ikabecha. And I hadn't been to Queenstown, I hadn't been to King Williamstown, I hadn't been anywhere. And boom, girl moves to Cape Town, just like that. So, okay, I thought, okay, Cape Town is, a bit chilled. I didn't know anything about it, didn't do research, none of that, because I was chilled. I was like, I still have a few months to figure this out, right? Did not even have any savings. Like, save from where? Like, okay, that's another story for another day. But yeah, so then I'm chilling at home, right? Now my cousin's sister moves to Cape Town, and her sister was already working that side. She moves there. Within 2 days of being there, she calls us and then she says she found a job. So now I then lose my mind at this point, because I'm like, I didn't know that people could get jobs like in 2 days, like in a city that you don't even know that well. I'm like, I'm leaving. Now my mom was like, sis, we don't have money for you to move. Like, that was not part of the plan. We still had a few months, to figure stuff out. And I was like, I am leaving. Okay. So my mom put together money for Ibasi, and I literally packed everything. Like, I had about 10 bags, because I was like, I'm there to look for a job. I don't know if I'm gonna find it. So I'm not gonna be spending money there. Like, I'm gonna take all my clothes, and I left. This was on the 23rd of February. I still remember 2016. I left, right? On the way there, I am now thinking, like, honestly, I'm really doing this. Like, I did not do research. I didn't know where I was moving to. I didn't ask all of those questions. I was excited that I'm gonna get a job, right? Wow. I move. So on the way, I'm talking to my cousin. So where are we going? And she tells me, and it's like a gooks, right? And it's like, gooks. What is that? And she's like, Google. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even know about that. I was like, oh, okay. I've heard about it, like in the news or something like that, but I didn't know like how the place looked or anything. And I was like, that doesn't really matter as long as I'm gonna get a job, sis. All right, we move, right? And then we get there, and upon my arrival, what do I hear? I get told that my good sis got scammed and there's no job. At this point, I'm like, no, man. Like, the excitement is on negative at this point, because I'm like, I came all the way because of you, because you got a job. So I thought I'm going, you know what I'm saying? And she's like, I got scammed. And I was like, scammed? She's like, yeah. And she paid money and she got scammed. Wow. I was like, okay, what a way to welcome me to Cape Town, right? We chilled. So I literally had, I think, 300 rand. That was supposed to be now taxi fare to now go look for jobs, right? Fine. I get there, and the situation there was not what I expected. It was tough. It was very, very tough. And I was like, okay. I kind of regretted the decision to move so quickly, because I was like, okay, like, I left my home for what? Because kunzinyana, you know, like, wow. And the other thing was my cousin, who was already there before, the cousin sister that thought she got a job. She was not really paid like good money, and she had to send money back at home, and she was taking care of like 4 people and her daughter also, right? And now I was an addition, her sister was an addition to now her expenses, you know. She had to take care of us, and it was really, really tough. And upon my arrival, we get told that the rent has been increased, because it was 500 when she was staying alone. So I guess they calculated per person, and now it was 1.5. And I'm just thinking, my cousin sister and I don't have jobs. Like, how are we gonna pay this money? And the older one, who's the one who's working, is not gonna be able to pay this money. Like, how? But yeah, that was the situation. So we go job hunting, right? This was now wake up call number 1. Like, welcome to Cape Town type of vibes. Oh, before I get to that, my cousin, the older one, I don't know, let me call her cousin number 1, and then the younger one cousin number 2. I think that's gonna work. Cousin number 1 then gave me a crash course, right, to tell me, now listen, good sis, people here don't really like us. And I'm like, who is us? She's like, Xhosas from the Eastern Cape, people don't really take a liking to them, particularly Xhosas who are originally from the Eastern Cape, who abachipayo, right? So I was like, that don't make sense. But she's like, listen to me, there are certain words that you cannot say. If you say them, you're gonna be in trouble. And I'm like, what kind of trouble? She's like, don't ask too many questions. So like, for instance, ikolega, which is the taxi collector, right? There it's called igaki. And then I think, what else? I hope I remember these words. My friends, where, you know, the Somalians and Nigerians that we, you know, that have small spaza shops, they're Gama Somalia, you know, even if they are from Nigeria, they're just called Somalia. And what else? I think, yeah, there were just a few words that she was like, okay, if you're in a taxi, because this is good here. Like, I like to talk. Like, I talk, right? I just assess people and then I'm there, conversation. So she's like, I know how you are, so you need to know those things, right? And I was like, okay, sharp, I got it. Next thing I know, right opposite our house, kuhlala iGinza, right? iGinza is a gangster, right? And the landlord then comes to us and says, my son is well known in this area because he is also part of a gang. So you would then need to be seen with him during the day so that people know. So that's how we're basically buying our safety. So you need to walk around with him so that people know that you are staying in our house and you'll be safe that way. I was like, like senchba ndifikile apho bendibhalele khona, senchba ndifikile Kapa, yebona. Like, okay, that was that. I was like, okay, whoa, like this is a lot. Like, first of all, I came here very excited. Now you're telling me all of these things, and I was never ready for this. Fine. Now we go job hunting, right? So my cousin told us, cousin number one told us where to go. So that was wake up call number one, where I saw that Cape Town, you don't just walk into companies and hand your CV. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like the Eastern Cape, because here you can do that. There, they work with agencies, right? So you submit your CV via an agency. That agency then submits your CV to whomever is looking for, candidates, and then you get an interview like that, right? So there are free agencies that I actually signed up with. Harambe was one of them, and then I only remember Harambe, that was free, and then the others you had to pay. At that point I couldn't pay anything because I didn't have money, right? Now we're going door to door. Now this is where I've been saying wake up call number one. Like, racism was about to, and then I remember now we walk in, right, to this company. So we get out of the elevator, right, and we approach the secretary, right, greet her. She doesn't greet back. And for me, when I greet, I make sure I wave, right, just to make sure. If you don't hear my voice, as loud as I am, I'm like, maybe she didn't hear me, let me just hi. She doesn't greet back. And then I look at my cousin number two that I'm with, and then I'm like, good afternoon, not as morning, good morning ma'am. She keeps on typing, good sis. Hey. And I'm like, at this point I'm like, okay, she must be deaf. I'm sorry, but I mean, two people greeting you like with that pitch, like, I mean, and you're not paying any mind to us, that's rude, number one. And she just looks up and says, put it right there with the other ones. And then I look on that side, I see a pile of CVs, right? And I'm like, okay. So I'm still, looking at the building. I'm like, this is a huge ass building, right? And part of me is like, I would love a tour, just to see what's up, even go up the elevator, go down, just to as we're still standing there, right, I'm still in awe. I'm still like in disbelief that this woman is treating us like this. She was colored, by the way. I feel like that's important to mention. So we're standing right there, right, and the elevator opens and a white woman comes out, right? She greets. Same person who did not greet us gets up, walks around her desk, gives this woman a handshake. So I'm thinking, this woman must be a big shot here, like she owns something, she's a manager of some sort, because you got up, you handshaked her. Like when we greeted how many times, and you, okay, fine. At this point, I'm not really mindful of the fact that, okay, this is happening. And this now woman, reaches out to her bag and she's like, I'm here to submit my CV. Doesn't she take her CV, but we were told to put our CVs with that huge pile? I was like, at this point, I'm like, okay, is this really happening? She takes her CV in her hand, right? And she says, come this way, ma'am. And I'm like, Jonga, we're not leaving because I want to see what's about to go down. This woman is like, she's here to submit a CV like the rest of us, right? But she got a tour. She was given a tour. I was like, okay. Okay. Sharp. We left. Now we're walking. And I'm like, did that really happen? And she's like, yeah, but don't mind it. We still need to go to quite a few places. We go to this other place, right? And hey, you know, at the gate, you know, we greet the security guard. Security guard, and umdase, you know, speaks to us, and then we're speaking closer to each other, and then, you know, he picks up that Xhosa sethu sahlukile, you know, our Xhosa is a bit different, and he's like, where you from? You know, our dialect and some, yeah, the dialect here too is a bit different. It's like, where you from? And then we say, yeah, from the Eastern Cape. It's like, yeah, I'm also from there. It's Lalini, and it's like, what you doing here? And I'm like, we're here to submit a CV. And he says, sorry, my sister, but they don't hire people like you here. And in my mind, I'm like, but you work here. Doesn't make sense. And it's like, no, yeah, I work here. Abantu bafana nathi are only security guards and cleaners. And I was like, okay. But for me, I'm like, I don't like to be told, you know, I just want to experience, you know, something. I get inside and I see, you know, the secretary sitting there. I was like, but she looks like me. What was he on about? Greet her and she says the same thing. And I'm like thinking, what are you talking about? Like, I've never heard of such a thing. Like, no, they don't hire people like us. I'm like, but you work here. And she says to me, yes, because my mother worked for the guy. So my mother was a maid for the guy who owns the company, and they put me through school, and I was told after, you know, graduating, I'm gonna give back to the company by working for them. I'm like, okay, good sis. All right, at least you got an education, right? Okay. And she's like, but if you insist of actually staying, it's fine. And luckily at that time they were on lunch, right? So, you know, the boardroom, you know, glass don man, like basically I can see them, they can see me. And I was like, okay, I said to my cousin, sis, are you coming? She's like, no. I was like, good. Now I'm here, I need to be satisfied. I need to go back home and say I went to 4 places, at least, you know, this one place that is promising. I need that fulfillment, right? Fine. I go there, like I have my CV in my hand. They're like, okay, since we're on lunch, like we can look at your CV, right? They look at my CV and they literally said to me, you are the perfect candidate on paper. And then I looked at him and I was like, on paper? He's like, yes, on paper, but you don't fit with us. I looked around the boardroom and then I looked around the office space because I mean it's glass, right? I can see everything. And us that he was referring to was white. I was like, thank you so much. I got it instantly. I didn't even question it. I was like, thank you so much for your time, and then I left. That was incident number 2 in one day. Right, okay. We get back home, right? And my cousin number 1 now, brought back a newspaper. I looked through the newspaper, I seen an ad that there is a media house that is looking for interns. I applied, and long story short, I got shortlisted, for an interview, and I got the internship, right? So that was, at least, there was something promising. So I got that within like 2 weeks of being in Cape Town. I got that, and what was nice about it was the fact that when I had to come back for graduation, I had something to go back to. I didn't go back to now look for a job. I already had something. Right. Now I was working for a media house. I was a news reporter there, right? And it was nice. I never thought I could write, and right now I'm sitting on like over 50 published articles, and it was the best time. Like, it was the best time of my life, right? Now, now I'm working for this company as an intern, right? I met somebody, we become friends. We born a friendship that, very vote, and it's like we've known each other for ever, right? Next thing I know, she's introducing me to her mom, right? At this point, I'm still staying with my cousins in Gooks. At this point, she's introducing me to her mom, and her mom loves me. Like, I mean, people love me. Like, people's moms love me. So I was like, okay, that's good. At least, I mean, so next thing I know, so I met her mom on that day during lunch because she was working in town, right? Now she tells me the next day that her mom is actually retiring, right? And she is going to be moving out of their place, and she needs a roommate basically. And the place is fully furnished. The rent has been paid for the rest of the year, so I don't have to pay anything. At this point, I'm thinking, sis, yes, I'm coming to stay with you if that's the offer. And she's like, yeah, you don't worry about it, you can just come through. I told my cousins, I was like, sis, I have been offered this, and I'm definitely taking it. So at this point, the stipend for the internship was 2.5. 2.5 in Cape Town is literally nothing. 1,000 rand was already going to my transport, and 500 had to go to rent, and then I was left with 1,000 rand. I had to buy toiletries, I had to buy food. Now remember, because now only 2 of us are working at this point. I was like, okay, if I move there, I'll be staying in town, so safety, check. And I'm not going to be using a lot of taxi fare, check. I'm not going to be paying rent, check. I am going to be eating whatever they're eating, check. I am going to save as much as I can, so I move, right? Everything is still going well at work. I mean, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, all right? 5 months down the line, I don't know what happened. Till this day, I honestly don't know what happened. But now, good sis, the one that I was staying with, stopped speaking to me. And it's very strange for me, because I don't know if it's a closer thing, but here at home, even when I wake up, like, I greet everyone. And we used to do that there, but now all of a sudden she doesn't greet me. And we used to travel to work together, but now she wakes up a bit earlier or a bit later to avoid me, right? I'm starting to feel it. I mean, when I get back from work, there's no plate for me. I was like, okay, something is definitely up. I was feeling bad now because we were sleeping in the same bed, and this one morning I had to go pee, and I saw her sleeping, in the lounge on the floor, and I cried. I cried because here I am. They took me in. I am from the Eastern Cape. I don't really know anyone other than my cousins in this place. And what did I do to cause somebody to leave their bed and sleep on the floor? You know, at this point, I was like, I can't stay here anymore because I'm not welcomed anymore, right? So at this point, I was staying in Pero, and I spoke to a colleague of mine. Asked her, but sis, I have this problem and I need a place where I can rent for 1,000 rand. And she said to me, even in the location, you're not going to find a place for that much, right? How about you come and stay with me and you can contribute that towards petrol, because we'll go to work together. We're already working together. That worked out perfectly. I moved, and at this point, I moved to Brackenfell, right? And Brackenfell was, in the outskirts, suburbs. There was no public transport, right? But I mean, it was not a problem. We're traveling to work together. But what was now the problem is that our schedules were changed, and the time that I had to go in for work was a bit earlier than her time, so meaning we couldn't travel together anymore. Now that became a problem because there was no taxi, there was no bus, right? So there was only a train, and the train station was an hour away. I had to walk an hour to work and an hour back. Rain or sunshine, I would walk. Sometimes I would walk on an empty stomach, and I don't know how I did not faint on sunny days, but God was with me through that, right? And then I moved. I moved quite a bit because I stayed within a stretch of like a few months, because I moved to Gooks. From Gooks. Rewind. So from Gooks, when I actually came back for graduation, right? I was then told that we're moving. So we're moving to Delft. This was around about the time when they were killing, police officers. I was like, and we're moving, but they're killing the popo? They're killing the popo, but we're moving to that place. Oh, okay. Like I have no say, actually, in this whole situation, but I'm gonna move. And now this place, it's a house, those small houses, like a 2-room house. It's called Uveza. Basically, we were staying Pana, and around the yard were other 5 shacks. And the house that we stayed in had a bathroom, had a bathroom inside, so everyone around the house used that bathroom, right? So that meant we couldn't lock the door at night. Yeah, that was stressful because we couldn't really sleep because there were men around the yard that we didn't know. Safety was a problem. Now I had to walk for 30 minutes to get to the taxi rank, in an area that I'm not familiar with. I had to walk alone, and that was also, I nearly got robbed this one time, but God was with me there again, right? And then from there, that's when I moved to Pero, and then from Pero I moved to Brackenfell. From Brackenfell I moved to Parklands. Wow, within a stretch of a few months, right? Okay, so Brackenfell, so that was the situation, walking for an hour, walking for hour back, and things were still fine at work. And at this point I was there for 6 months, and 6 months in, we get told that people are being retrenched, in the company. So automatically in our minds, we're thinking we're going to be next in line, right? Wrong. We get told there are interns that were here before you, 2 years before you, 3 years before you, that are in line. So you are not even gonna be considered. So at this point, because I was an arts and entertainment writer, I would go to events, I would cover events, or do like a build up for them and get tickets and all of that, right? So with that, you meet different people, covering red carpets and all of that. Fine. So I meet someone there, we talk, and next thing I know, he asks for a meeting. I go to the meeting and then he offers me a job. At this point, I'm thinking, it's more money. It's 2,000 more, so meaning I'm gonna get paid 4.5. Exciting. It was exciting for me. And I looked at the place where I was moving to. It was like Sea Point, so it's like even like the area where it's at is nice. So I'm thinking this is gonna be helpful, and maybe I can finally get a place of my own now. Ambitious much, get 4.5. Wow, babes. So fine, there I was going to be an entertainment writer, right? I moved there. This was in November 2016, right? December, I am called in to a meeting and I'm told that I'm getting retrenched because the company is in trouble, and they took me and they thought that I was actually going to turn things around for them. How do you take an intern and hope she will turn things around for you? Like that till this day does not make sense to me. But that was that.